board here. All right. So again, welcome to the Power Up and Market Update. It is May 27th, Memorial Day. Today is a great day to remember and honor all of those that have served and why we get to experience this beautiful country and the freedoms that we have. So, please, if you have somebody in your life or if you've served, I thank you for your service, and make sure that you give them a lot of love. Give them a lot of love in your life. So wanted to start off with that. Just a quick little reminder here. Remember to bring your full attention to the Zoom. Eliminate distractions, focus and stay with the conversation, engage and drop insights, right? Verl and I will be saying certain things. And if you hear something that resonates with you, please drop it into the chat, because I'm pretty sure somebody else would love to also will have a breakthrough just like you. Remember that this message today is specifically for you. And the conversation that we prepared today is to become an industry leader. So before we get started up, I'm just going to go over a couple of stats, affirmations and, a couple of things that we do, but I am going to go over some stats, and then we're going to have Verl present for about 45 minutes of just some firepower that you guys are going to absolutely love. So before we get started up with the stats, you guys already know the drill. We like to amplify our energy here by doing some affirmations. Yes, we're going to yell out loud. I know we're going to amplify our energy because high energy equals high income. So go ahead and unmute yourselves, please. Unmute yourselves, please. That way we can do these affirmations as a community together. And you're just going to repeat after me. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, power up. We're going to do that twice. And then I'm just going to say the phrase and you're going to repeat after me. All right. So are you guys ready?
We are ready.
All right. All right. All right. So 1, 2, 3, power up.
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 High energy equals high income.
High energy equals high income.
Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better.
Every day and every way, I'm getting better and better.
Every day and every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger.
Every day and every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger.
Every day and every way, I'm getting smarter and smarter.
Every day and every way, I'm getting smarter and smarter.
I was born to win.
I was born to win.
I will never surrender.
I will never surrender.
I will always keep growing.
I will always keep growing.
I was born to be great.
I was
born to be great.
Today will be the best day of my life, no matter what.
Today will be the best day of my life,
no matter what.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating and saying the affirmations. As you guys already know, I've been doing this for close to 15 years. High energy equals high income. He or she who has the most rapport in any conversation wins. Amplify your energy, people, because this is going to help you to close more deals, sign more listings. So we're going to breathe as a community. We're going to do 6 breaths in through the nose, out the mouth. And the last breath, we're going to hold as long as you can, and then you're just going to let go. This is going to help you to get present. So inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Out the mouth. In through the nose. Out the mouth. In through the nose. Out the mouth. Last one. Inhale through the nose. And hold. Hold, 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 hold. I feel a little dizzy, and keep holding if you keep holding your breath, but that helps you to get present in the conversation. For me, I think presence is a superpower. So thank you for breathing together as a community. And also, you guys already know this. I say this every single week. Gratitude is an abundance multiplier. So what are you grateful for? Tune into that energy of gratitude. Feel it, because there's so many things you can be grateful for. The ability to see, the ability to hear. You woke up today. I'm so grateful for my brain. Actually, I was watching a documentary over the weekend. And I'm like, this little thing within our skull, right? It controls everything. So I'm so grateful for my brain. I'm so grateful for my body. I'm so grateful for the water. I'm so grateful for the roof over my head, my beautiful vehicle. I'm so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for Verl being a yes today. I am so grateful to be alive. So fill in the blank, whatever you are grateful for. Tune into that energy of gratitude, because that's going to multiply more blessings in your life. And with that, also visualize yourself 12 months from now having the business that you dream of, desire, and you are maybe driving the vehicle of your dreams. Look at your bank account. How does that look? I want you to create a mental movie. How many listings are you carrying active at all times? How many transactions have you closed? Where are you traveling to? What kind of experience are you and your family having? Right? Create a vivid picture and try to do this at least once a day. I would say even twice a day before you go to bed, because before you go to bed, it's very, very important that you give your mind instructions. That way you can marinate this vision and you can manifest it and attract it into your life faster. So, now, moving forward, as a community, our goal is to serve 21,000 families, $10 billion in volume, and to attract 10,000 agents to our organization. Again, you guys should be reading your goals twice a day, because that RAS, the reticular activating system within your mind, is going to start to help you to get to that goal much faster. So I'm going to go into a local market update. You guys already know how to do this. You guys should be doing a local market update in your area. It could be zip code, it could be city. And for today, I have these 5 counties that I'm highlighting. These are my local markets, but obviously do one for your area. But look at just in these 5 counties. I want you guys to understand how much business is available at all times. This is for the last 7 days. And I took into account LA, Orange County, San Bernardino, Riverside, San Diego. 1.6 billion closed in LA. 800 million in Orange County, 236 million in San Bernardino, 425 million in Riverside, and 628 million in San Diego. So that totals out to $3.7 billion in production, 3,200 properties, $93 million in commissions paid. So every single one of you in this community should never, ever, 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 ever have that excuse to say, you know what, there's not enough business. There's not enough inventory. There's not enough this. Fill in the blank. We have the numbers every single week. So look at the numbers, because when you speak with people, you got to know your stuff. So it's very, very important. So now I am going to be switching gears and I'm going to be handed over to Verl. But before I bring him up, because I'm so excited for you guys to hear him, I actually had the opportunity to introduce him at a build conference. That's when I first met him. But before I even met him, I already knew how amazing he was, because I was doing a lot of his coaching programs. And I was working with, obviously, our late friend, Mr. Rick Jiha, right? That was just an outstanding human being. And he raved about Verl and everything he was doing and with his organization. So I'm going to read his bio just so you guys can get some context of who Verl is. And so here, Verl Workman is a co-founder and CEO of Workman Success Systems, a business coaching company that specializes in developing high-performing companies and teams using his unique approach that focuses on the totality of the team or the company, developing leaders at every organizational level. Verl knows that greatness is predictable and has built systems, processes, and procedures, tools, training, and trade secrets to make greatness predictable by focusing on the right things and developing greatness predicting habits. As a father of 6, Verl believes that no other success can compensate for the failure in the home. His focus on family is such that he co-founded Workman Success Systems with his oldest daughter, Brianne, to be the kind of place where his family would want to join and add to the business. He succeeded in that. 3 of his 6 children have helped Verl build a Workman Success into what it is today. I've actually met your son. He's awesome. And Verl says that his greatest success is measured by how he teaches his clients to have balance in their lives as they grow their businesses for more than 20 years. Verl has led agents, brokers, and teams with enthusiasm, determination, unshamed optimism, and innovative systems that have created greatness that is truly predictable. With that said, let's give a big, warm welcome to Mr. Verl Workman. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you being here.
I can hear the rumble in the background. Thanks, Leo. Good to see everybody. Hi to Casey. Jiha's here. Casey, nice to see you this morning. Leo, thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. And you know, when you asked me to do a call on leadership, I thought, well, isn't it Memorial Day? And I thought for a second, what great leadership to set the example that every day is we get up and we do the right things, regardless of whether or not it's a holiday. So thank you for setting the example of being a great leader and showing your people that, you know, success doesn't rest. It takes effort from everybody all the time to be thinking about the things that we need to be focused on. Now, after the call, I want you to all just hang up and then go out and play with your families and enjoy the day, and make sure you enjoy an amazing day. Mine are starting to arrive right now. So we have a massive, when the Workmans get together, we show up as about 30. And then they start bringing friends and neighbors, and there will probably be 50, 60 people in the backyard today, all barbecuing and getting on the Blackstone. So thanks for the extra hour this morning, Leo. Gave me a little bit more prep time. So we are good to go, making homemade French fries out back.
That's what I'm talking about.
What I'm
Awesome.
talking about.
I'll be right there.
Come on down. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, for those of you who don't know me. I love in the intro, and that was you got the full version intro, man. I haven't heard that in a long time. I almost wanted to come to the webinar. I was so good.
Who is this guy, right?
Who is that guy? I was thinking about greatness is predictable. And, predictable greatness is kind of a cool concept. How many of you believe that you can actually predict your outcome? That greatness is actually predictable? Those of you on video, those of you not on video yet, please turn your video on so I can see you. I can see the whole screen of everybody. I only see about half of you. And there's about half of you not on video. If you turn your video on, you know what happens? You stay tuned, you stay focused. I'm going to give you my A game today if you give me yours. And so if you turn your video on, it'll keep you from getting on your phones and being distracted by your computers and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all the other crap that goes on. So just stay with me and be present. I made a call for you this morning. And when I got up this morning, I thought, what's Memorial Day and who do we have to be grateful for? A friend of mine last year retired from the Navy SEALs as a senior leader in SEAL Team 6. His name's Matt. Leo, I don't know if you know about Matt, but Matt served for 20 years, was on 20 deployments.
Buenos días.
And he's an absolute...
¿Ya mató un pollito?
No
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Guys, go ahead and please mute your background. Thank you
good.
so much.
I'm glad Leo's focused. See, Leo's not on video and he's doing something else. He's not present. I'm just calling him out because he just came on having a conversation. And I was talking to Matt this morning. I said, man, I just want to call you and tell you thank you. Thank you and all your fallen brothers who had gone out there and gave us the ability to have the freedoms we have, that give us the ability to start businesses and to be successful and have families and live free. And no matter what goes on in the world, we have the greatest country in the world. I'm so grateful to live here in the United States and to be part of it. So when I called Matt, I don't know, I'd like to give you a couple of examples of what it means to be a great leader. Being a great leader, when you talk to people who are in the, they don't call themselves elite or anything special because they don't want others to think that they're above somebody else. Now, SEAL Team 6 is the top of the spear. That's when they go out, every single mission is overwatched by the Pentagon on satellites and body cams, and they see everything. These are the guys that got Osama bin Laden. They're the ones that were involved with Captain Phillips. They're the ones that that dealt with the Benghazi raid. These are the guys that are truly the warriors. When I asked Matt the first time we had met, we were doing an event together, and he was looking at his notes. And I said, Matt, do you have a hard time remembering your stuff? Why do you keep notes? He says, well, two things. Number one is I got to be careful what I say because I can't disclose things that are top secret. And number two is I have a TBI. I said, well, what's that? He said, well, it's a traumatic brain injury. I said, oh, I'm not familiar with those. What happened? What happens? He says, well, guys in our line of work or football players, they'll get smashed in the head, or they'll get hit in the teeth with the butt of a gun, or they'll get shot, or they'll get blown up by an IED, or they'll be fast roping onto an aircraft carrier in high seas, and the ship will come up faster than they land and cause brain injuries. And I asked him, I said, do you mind if I asked which one happened to you? And without any emotion, he looked at me and he said, all of them. And I just had this moment of humility where I thought, holy cow, I'm standing in the presence of a real hero, someone who defends our country, who's been in the middle of it. And as I got to know Matt, some of the things I learned about how they create greatness is he says, there's a few things we do. Number one, he says, if you want to be on a high-performing team, he said, it's nobody's job to get you ready. We were talking about training, and I says, when you get selected for SEAL Team 6, by the way, you don't put it in an application. It's a selection process, not a recruiting process. You get selected. And when you're selected, he says, we all show up. I said, but is it like what you see on TV and you got to go through buds? He goes, oh, no, that happens way early on. And you go through buds just to get into teams. He says, but when you're off deployment, you go back to your families, you come back and you get spun up. You have to be physically and mentally ready at any moment to be able to do whatever the mission is. And I said, well, what happens if you're not? He says, well, a good team member just lets the team leader know that they're not mentally in the game and they would never go out and put everybody else at risk, or they're not physically fit, or their back bothers them. You wouldn't cheat or pretend that you're not ready to go. He says it's what we do away from the teams that puts us in the right mindset to be prepared to be able to go out and perform in any situation. I want you to think about that. What are your daily habits that mentally and physically prepare you for any situation? And how much of your day do you spend doing the things that separate you from everybody else so that you can be a tier 1 operator? I believe that with the class action lawsuit and Leo, I'm sure you've had lots of conversations about this class action lawsuit. We have high interest rates, we have inflation, and it's like this perfect storm of all of these things that have caused the consumer to want to pause. And it's not that the life events that aren't happening that cause people to move, they're still happening, but people are just waiting to see. And when people wait and see, it requires a real professional to move them with emotional intelligence from being hesitant or wanting to pause to being engaged, hopeful, and energized about moving forward. I loved when you had a couple wins this morning talking about new listings that could go on the marketplace. Look, there's not a listing inventory problem out there, folks. For how many of you wish you had more listings? Go ahead and raise your hands. All right, okay, so let me tell you something. Wish marketing doesn't work. There's not an inventory shortage. There's plenty of inventory. You just don't have it. And you have to decide if you want to dominate in today's market, are you doing the activities that generate those results? We started a listing competition. We called it a 120-day listing challenge. Let me share my screen with you. And let me show you what's happened in the first 3 weeks. Leo, you want to see what's happened? This is,
Yes,
I
let's
thought
do
we
it.
were going to have like 80 people sign up, and we ended up with about 300 people. And in just a couple of weeks, let me go back to my Zoom screen here so I can share my screen. Desktop 1, it's going to be. Okay. Well, I've got too many things going on here. I'm at my home screen instead of my office, so I've got one less screen than I normally have. This is in 2 weeks of 120-day listing challenge. We have 378 listing appointments taken, 147 new listings, 205 offers received, 73 million in new listing bought in 2 weeks. Leo, what do you think? Listings closed.
This is amazing.
Yeah, 58. What we learned is that greatness is predictable. And by gamifying it, by creating a competition, people leaned in and started making it fun. And so we started tracking the activities that they focus on in a day. Greatness is predictable, but you know what else is predictable, Leo? Average.
Facts.
Average is also predictable. If you were to track everything you did in 30-minute increments throughout the day, I could tell you what your results are going to be. Whether they were going to be average, whether they were going to be above average, or whether they were going to be exceptional. When I think about what's going on in the marketplace, in order to be in real estate in the last, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years, I'm going to say that it was an activity-based market. And what that means is if you did the right activities, if you showed up, basically, you did some open houses, you worked your sphere, you'd sell some houses. And then we moved to what's called a skills-based market. And a skills-based market is where the average agent who doesn't have the skills to negotiate, they don't know how to sell themselves, they didn't know how to articulate what makes them different from everybody else, and they didn't know how to emotionally move people from being stuck to moving forward. In a skills-based market, the average agent quietly goes away. But we've moved again. We're no longer in a skills-based market. How many of you, did anybody on this call play professional level sports? Do we have anybody that's played at a professional level? Do we have any pro athletes or anyone that's played in the big leagues, or know anyone or has been related to anyone who's played professional? Go into chat and tell me who you are. Like, I want to know, we have a bunch of people on the call, a bunch of non-video people playing in the minors. Anybody playing the professionals? I was sitting on a plane. All right, Leo, so here's a personal story. I'm sitting on a plane flying back from Atlanta, Georgia to Salt Lake City. And best friend played professional football. Jordan, I love that. D1. Hey, Jordan, come off mute and talk to me for a minute. Where's Jordan?
How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. And you're on video. Good to see you, man. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Madera, California.
Madera, California, and your best friend played D1 football. I love that. When he got to Division I football, was there a difference between D1 football and high school football?
Oh, definitely. He said it was a huge culture shock because
What do you
in
think the difference was just from the level of play?
it was just the work ethic, the mentality, the dedication, just everything involved with it. He said he had to take it up a whole nother level.
Yeah, I love that. Any chance that he had a coach at the D1 level?
Yeah, he was a quarterback coach.
He had a
He
quarterback coach.
was an
Any other
ex-NFL
coaches?
player.
How many coaches do you think he had at D1?
A lot of coaches.
A lot of coaches. I bet he had a
Yeah.
quarterback coach. I bet he had a mindset coach. Bet he had a physical strength coach.
Nutrition
I bet he had a
coach.
nutrition coach.
Yeah, he had a lot of different coaches.
See, one of the things I've learned that when you go from the amateurs even into D1 is they have what's called a coaching culture. And to play at that level, they surround themselves with people who can see their game from a different perspective. What do you think? And this is just a question, Jordan. When you have a quarterback coach, what are some of the things that they might track when, as a quarterback, in your practice and games?
Just techniques, vision, keeping your eyes down the field, you're being aware of surroundings so you don't get sacked, all those kind of different things that go into the characteristics of being a quarterback.
Yeah. You ever watch baseball?
Yeah, I actually used to play baseball.
Oh, I love that. Okay, what do they track in baseball? You ever see anybody with a tracking sheet in baseball? What are they tracking?
Honestly, I don't remember what they track, but yeah, I don't remember what
Let
they
me see if
track.
any of this resonates. They track your at-bats, they track your batting percentage, they track how many times you hit off a right-handed pitcher versus a left-handed pitcher. They track your at-bats to times on base. They track how many steals you make. They track the tendencies of a pitcher, how many curves they throw, how many sliders they throw, how many fastballs they throw, what their cadence is. They track how many times a catcher throws somebody out at first base. They track your speed from home to first base. Like they track every stat. You ever see the movie Moneyball? That was kind of
Yeah,
a
I've
cool
seen
one.
Moneyball.
Yeah, in Moneyball, it kind of they built a whole team based on statistics, and they believed they could build a championship team by tracking the right things. And they don't track wins and losses as much as they track the activities that create the wins and losses. And by focusing on the right activities, the wins and losses happen. Leo, does that make any sense in real estate? You think if we track the right things
100%.
and we
100%.
measure the right things, we can start getting a more predictable result?
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, I'm going to give you guys some stuff today. Let's see if I can. Let me see. Let me share another screen with you. I'm in a good mood. My assistant says, you want to give some stuff away? I say, I'm going to give a bunch of stuff away.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. You can't
Yeah.
win a game if you don't know your score. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
right.
it would be pointless to watch a game if you don't know the score.
Right? All right. So I'm going to start with sharing this screen right here. And I'm not going to blow it up for you, but this is a daily success habits tracker. Now, I want you to look at this right here. When you see my daily success habits tracker, Leo, is that what you're seeing on your screen?
Yes, I see it. I see it.
Okay, so what we track at Workman is we track how many calls you make prospecting, how many conversations you have. When you have a call, you make a hash mark. When you have a conversation, you turn it into an X. I want to know how many conversations it takes to get an appointment, how many appointments it takes to get a buyer or listing agreement signed, how many times you show two houses to a client. I only want you to track dollar productive activities. We track money-making activities. They're called MMAs. How much oh, and this is just another Verl thing, but I like to track if I'm going to spend time away from my family, I've decided it needs to be worth it. And so I want the highest return on my time away from family. And I'll tell you, when you're prospecting for listings, your value is about $7,000 an hour. Think about that. So anything you're doing that you could delegate for $100 an hour, you shouldn't be doing yourself. If you can delegate for 20 bucks an hour, there's no way you should be doing it yourself, because your time spent prospecting is worth $7,000 an hour. There's only 3 things we do in real estate, 4 things if you're with the XP. We prospect, we list and show properties, we negotiate contracts, and we attract new people. Those are your 4 things. And when you do the first 3 right, the 4th one happens automatically, because there is no greater attractor than success. Success is hot. Success is attracting. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you all the daily success habits tracker, and I want you to track for the next 30 days. I'm gonna give you a coaching assignment. And this coaching assignment is I want you to track every single day for the next 30 days how much time you spend doing dollar productive activities. And I want you to set a goal. And the goal is to get 61 points a day doing dollar productive activities. And when you're done, the very last thing is 1MT down here. That stands for one more thing, one more time. You make one more dial, you make one more call, you wait till one more person comes in the open house, you knock one more door, you attract one more person, you have one more recruiting conversation, one more thing, one more time. And then in the left hand column, I want you to write down in 30-minute increments what you actually do every day. Here's what I've learned. That which gets measured gets done. And if you start tracking what you do and you measure the activities, you become aware of whether or not your activities are consistent with your goals. You see, my job as your coach is not to motivate you. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, if I have to motivate you, I don't need you. How many guys at D1 football have to be motivated by their coach to show up and do their weight training? When you get into the pros, do you think you have to motivate people to show up and to eat healthy and to exercise and to do the activities or do the routine that gets them in game ready? You watch the professionals, whether they're Olympic athletes or whether they're in the pros, they all have a pregame ritual they go through. Oftentimes you'll see them with headsets on because they got a theme or they got an anthem that they listen to that gets them in the mindset to go. I remember Casey put in her notes, she had a friend that was a professional wakeboarder. Okay, I love that. My boys think they're professional wakeboarders. They thought they were good until we got an actual professional on the boat. And then they went to a whole different level. We thought something was wrong with our boat when my boys rode because they weren't jumping that high. And it's just because they had different skills and they had different skills at professional level. That's what's happening in real estate right now. Okay, I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, okay. I was talking about daily success habits and doing the right things. The next thing I'm going to give you, Leo, I'm going to give you something I've never given away before.
Let's go. We love
We
that.
have a brand new program. We have a brand new program that's going to launch 1st of June called JOLT. It's high voltage attraction, and it's our new recruiting program. And when you guys go in and you do an information exchange, you'll get emailed about how to get access to it. But one of the things we teach is we teach 24 pillars of attraction and 24 different ways of recruiting people into your organization, into your brokerage, and onto your team. Because we build high focus teams and high performing teams, we're big on attraction like you are. And so we've built a daily success habit of attraction. And so how much time do you spend actually doing the things that grow your business? Getting to 10,000 isn't going to happen just because you put it out in the universe. I think when you put things out in the universe, it tells the universe you're serious about it. But if you don't take action behind it, it's only a wish. It doesn't happen. The universe doesn't serve you 10,000 people. The universe says you put it out there, now go do the work to get it. You got to roll up your sleeves. My boat runs on gas, not on affirmations. You got to put gas in the boat. You got to go out and put the things and the energy in there and the activities that get the results you want. How many dials is it going to take? How many conversations is it going to take to attract somebody or to list a property? So I'm going to give you guys that, okay? And that's in these it's in the new JOLT program. I'm going to give you the daily habits of attraction along with the daily success habits for building your real estate practice. You guys cool with that?
We love it. We love it.
All right, I'm going to give you some other things as well. The other thing I did this morning is I had the rare privilege of asking Navy SEAL Matt if he wouldn't mind spending some time working with one of my sons and coaching him on leadership. And Matt said that he'd be willing to do that. And I asked Matt, I'm going to open this PDF I had open for you.
Hey, while you do that, also, Verl, you mentioned that in the past it was activity-based, skills-based. Well, what's the now? I don't think you covered the last one.
Oh, I left you hanging, didn't I?
Hey, I'm taking notes, man. I'm taking notes.
We call that a cliffhanger. The next level is we've moved into a professionals market. We've gone from the amateurs into professionals, and the professionals think, act, and behave at an entirely different level than even the college players do. We've moved into professionals market. Real estate is no longer going to be a place. As a matter of fact, Inman asked me to do a conference in Las Vegas in January and talk about the team of 2030. And I think it's going to be a team of real estate professionals. It's not going to be a team of amateurs anymore. I think doing 7 deals a year is going to be a big eliminator. And it may qualify you for something, but it's not going to qualify you for the highest level of business. You're going to have to do a lot more transactions. And there's so much downward pressure on commissions now with the class action lawsuit in order to make the same dollar. In our daily success habits tracker, you know, in 2019, it took 167 calls to have a transaction. Today, it takes 222. You can't show up and do the same effort and hope to get the same result. It requires more effort today to get the same result as it did 2 years ago. What's happened is we've moved. We went from a activity-based market to a skills-based market, and now we're moving into the pros. And the professionals have higher level of training and education. They have coaches. They focus on mindset, and they get their head in the right place, and they do the hard things regardless of what's going on around them. They emotionally do the hard things no matter what's going on around them. I want you to really think about that. They do the hard things. When I asked Matt if he would coach my son Nate, he said that he'd be willing to do that if Nate was coachable. He says, but if I have to make him show up, or if I have to motivate him, I don't need him. I don't have time for it. Now, how would you like to have a senior commander of SEAL Team 6 coaching one of your kids? I dare you not to do your assignments. He has a look. I said, okay, Matt. And so the first thing he went to Nate with is he says, I'm going to teach you in the Navy SEALs. We use this concept called climate. And he says, the government invests over $1 million in leadership development and training for the Navy SEALs. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they have a Harvard level MBA in leadership. These are not just, grunts that go and kick doors. They have been trained. They know how to lead people. They know how to develop men. They know how to develop men and women as phenomenal leaders. And it's really interesting. And he says, I use this acronym called CLIMATE, CLIMATE. And I'm going to share this acronym with you because Nate now uses it in every single one of our leadership meetings. They have a Tuesday morning meeting called the climate meeting. Now, I want you to think about that. Leo, when you asked your group, what's the climate today? Did they tell you hey, it's partly cloudy with a chance of rain, or, it's a tornado, or it's thunder, or it's sunny? Like climate, like in just one word, what's the climate? You can have a real clear visual of what's going on in somebody's business or their life. Hey, what's the climate, man? And so let me go through and give you this climate acronym. C is communication. Is there anything that needs to be communicated or talked about that we haven't discussed? I love that. Like you show up with your list. Hey, communication, what do we need? Do we need to talk about anything? Number 2, leadership. Do you have the direction you need from leadership? Is there anything leadership needs to do or not do to put you in a position to win today? How's our communication? Everybody good? No, you need to know about, hey, I had a listing fall out, or I've got a big VIP we're going to do an attraction call with. I need somebody to help me with that. Or we've got someone who, we've got a transaction falling apart and I need some help with that. Like when we talk about leadership, how does our leadership show up for you? I can tell you right now, I don't even wonder because we're on a call on Memorial Day. I know how your leadership shows up. I know how Leo shows up with affirmations and being fired up and getting you to be present. And so is there anything they need to do or not do? And I love that is there anything leadership needs to not do? Is leadership micromanaging? Are they doing things that you don't need from them? I think it's really important to ask that question as leaders. Is there anything I need to do to show up differently for you? And then we go into important issues in I. Okay, what are the issues? I believe, and Matt taught, we don't have people problems, we have process problems. So are there any issues with the upcoming mission that'll keep us from hitting success? And it's not a people problem, it's a process problem. So we attack the process, not the individuals, because we believe everybody shows up to win. Leo, I believe this about your group. I don't believe there's a single person on this call that wakes up every day and hopes they fail. I don't believe there's a single person that hopes they don't succeed in real estate. And I don't believe there's a single person that hopes they fail in family, in being a leader, and being a parent, and being a husband, a wife, or a partner. I think we get up and we want to win. We just don't know how. And so when we have issues, instead of attacking the people around us, if we say, what can I do better? What are the things that I can do as processes to put me in a position to be worth and worthy of the people that I want around me? What am I doing from a personal development perspective to grow? I think when you own that instead of putting it on somebody else, that's when leadership really starts to take place in your life, is when you start owning the activities that it takes to be a leader. The other thing I believe, and this is just Verl, is that leadership is different than what you think it is. It's not accountability. Leadership is love. It's when you love someone so much, you're willing to ask them if they're willing to keep the promises they made to themselves and their families when they got up today. Like, I care about you enough to ask you the question, did you really keep the promises you made to your family when you got up and left for work? Did you actually do work, or did you do fake work? A great leader asks the questions, is there any issues? M is motivation, and I love this one. Motivation comes down to your core motivating value, the real why. What gets you up in the morning and what drives you? Casey, we've had some great conversations over the last few weeks together, haven't we?
Life-changing.
And I hope you don't mind me just calling on you, because we've talked about what you really want in life. Like, things change when you have traumatic experiences, and you have to get real. What gets you up? Yeah, go ahead.
It's the hard conversations. The confrontive ones. There's the meaningful ones, right? So
Unbelievable ones, but it helps you define who you are as a person. You know, you have this amazing organization, all these people that look up to you and Rick and the things that you do. And when I asked Casey, you know, who she wants to be when she grows up, or what does her life look like going forward, or what does it look like? She says, I want to serve. Like there is no single word that describes her as a leader better than the word serve. I want to serve my family. I want to serve Rick's boys. I want to serve the team, and I want to serve our organization. And I want to help people that don't believe that they can do something amazing, achieve great things in their life. To me, that's what leadership is all about, Casey. And when you say I want to serve, that makes me feel humble. I want to make a boatload of money, and I want to serve. I kind of get sometimes those things mixed up. Can you have
they're both
both?
amazing.
You can have both, can't you?
Yeah.
You really can. So, do people have the motivation? And when I ask for motivation, we're trying to figure out what motivation looks like. I want to know what your core motivating why is. I was watching D1 football last year, and there was a big deal about Deion Sanders going to coach at the Colorado, the Buffaloes. And when Deion was getting players to come off the college portal, Leo, I don't know if you saw this interview he did on 60 Minutes, but you should YouTube it and play it for your group, because it's phenomenal. Because he asked 3 questions from everybody. The first question he says, who you playing for? Now, I want you to just pause for a second. I want you to, who you playing for? Like, when you get up every day and you have to do hard things, Maggie or Nora, who are you playing for? I'm thinking about that, Terry. Who you playing for? And if you can't answer the question, who you playing for, you're playing for yourself, he doesn't want you on his team. He says, I get answers like, I'm playing for my grandpa. I'm playing for my brother who died in a gang. I'm playing for my coach in high school who believed in me. I'm playing for my mom who gave up everything so I could be here and play college football. I'm playing for my family. Like, when you ask the question, who you playing for, I've learned that people will do things for others they aren't willing to do for themselves. So have you found that to be true, Leo, in your leadership role?
100%. Absolutely.
Who you
100%.
playing for?
My family and this community. I'm
No
playing for
pause,
this
huh?
community. 100%.
Yeah, there's no pause in that. There's no pause. You see, if you're really playing for your family, the motivation, sometimes it requires a great leader to ask you who you're playing for. And then when you say my family, I go deeper. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your spouse. Tell me about your kids. Tell me about what they love. Tell me about what's hard. Tell me about the lifestyle you want to create and the opportunities you want to have for them. Tell me what lessons you want them to learn by the example you set. Because when I know that, then I don't need to motivate you. If I ask the right questions, you'll get up and do the hard things because you remember who you're playing for. But sometimes we forget who we're playing for.
Yeah, that's big.
All right. That. Motivation. Motivation is asking the question you're playing for. The other thing he asks are you willing to put in the effort to be a champion? Whew. Are you willing to put in the effort to be a champion? And then the follow-up question is, What does that look like to you? Now, we could stop. We could end the call right now. Who are you playing for? Are you willing to put in the effort to be a champion and define what that looks like to you? Tell me what that looks like. Oh my gosh, what does that look like? Because it might look like one thing to you, but it looks like something different to your family. And it might look, we set goals based on our life experiences. And when, one of the reasons that Leo does calls like this every single week is because he wants you to have new experiences, because your experiences form your belief in what's possible. And our actions are dictated by what we believe is possible. And the results that we get in life and business are directly related to the activities we focus on. And so if our beliefs are formed by if our actions are dictated by our beliefs, and our beliefs are formed by the experiences we have, he wants you to have new experiences, to be around wildly successful people. My dad was a high school history teacher. I used to believe that success was $42,000 a year. And I set my goal to make $42,000 a year. And so, because that was my experience as a kid, that was where I set my goals until I got around other people that taught me that I could make $42,000 a month and then $42,000 a week. I didn't believe it was possible until I put myself in a room where other people were doing it. I thought, wait a minute, I have new experiences now. I can change what I believe is possible. Okay, so does everybody have the motivation they need? Or do they need me to ask the question, who you playing for? And what does that look like? And then accountability. Do they have the accountability they need? And what that means is, are they tracking the activities that give them the awareness? Accountability equals awareness. Accountability is not something you do to someone. Does anybody really, really know Casey Jiha? Because I'll tell you right now, she is not going to do anything she doesn't want to do. And if I'm coaching Casey and I'm asking her to do something she doesn't want to do, she says, let me sit with that for a minute. And comes back and says, I'm not doing that because it doesn't sit right with me. I cannot make her do anything. All I can do is ask her if she's willing to do it. And if she says yes, then she's responsible. Then do the activity. I can't make her do anything. Is that true, Casey? Can I make you do things you don't want to do? I lost her. Is she still with us? You shaking your head?
Yeah, I'm shaking my head. Not you or anyone else.
No, that's right. Not you or anyone else. So accountability is a bunch of crap. Accountability is not something you do to someone. It's a culture you create where people choose it. And I want to be around successfully minded people who choose to do the right things every day, who choose to get up and win their daily success habits, that do the activities that put them in a position to be able to win. You're not going to win every time. Matter of fact, I haven't learned anything. I've learned everything by failing. I've learned by all the failures that get me ready for the next victory or for the next win. So does everybody have the accountability they need? Does everybody show up with their daily success habits in their hands and saying, I got my 61 points. And let me share with you what my wins were as a result of that. I made 61 calls. It took me, I did 61 calls, but I set 2 appointments, and the 2 appointments turned into 1 listing. And every 2 listings, I get 1. So if I need to get 2 listings a week, all I have to do is 160 calls. Once you figure out the math, you just do the work. It's so cool. Greatness is predictable. All right. I love teamability. We're going to run out of time, Leo, and you know that you knew that was going to happen. Teamability is a big deal to me with Matt. I asked Matt, I said, what does that mean in the Navy SEALs? What does teamability he means? He says, that means that when you join the team, you forget yourself. And it's all about the success of the team. And he told me a story. I'll give you 2 examples. He said, first of all, I'm going to tell you, he says, we don't just recruit from the Navy SEALs. We look to all the military, to all of the people who are tier 1 operators, and we get to select anybody from any group. And oftentimes we have people that were like Army snipers, and they're at the very top of their game. He says, and what's interesting, when we bring an Army sniper in, during the selection process, the number 1 thing we look for with them is teamability, because snipers generally focus on their target and their 6, how they're going to get in and get their target, how they're going to get out. And oftentimes they lack the thing where they have the bigger team approach. And he says, teamability is really interesting. He says, let me give you an example of teamability. He says, I said, okay, when you go on a mission, how do you know if it's a win or success? He says, the first thing we do is count fingers and toes. I mean, what we do is kind of silly. Like we list houses and we sell houses. At the end of the day, you don't count fingers and toes to see if you survived or if your brothers made it or your sisters are still alive. He says, we count fingers and toes. He says, well, I'm going to tell you about an experience that we had. He said, we got spun up. We have to be 15 minutes away from a major base so we can get on a helicopter and be dropped onto an aircraft carrier. He said there was a ship with weapons of mass destruction that was coming to the United States. We had to get airlifted onto an aircraft carrier with our go fast boats, prepare the mission, plan the mission, get in the boats, go out there, and then hit this ship. He says, we get into the aircraft carrier and we fast rope onto it in high seas, and a couple of our guys got hurt. Nobody on the aircraft carrier knows what's going on. All they know is it's something big because these special people with special gear showed up that they've never seen before. He said, we're dropping with parachutes, go fast boats out of helicopters into high seas, and they're landing, and then we have to get on there, get these boats. And he says, we're on the windward side of an aircraft carrier. I don't know if you know what that means. He says, but we do our mission planning. We get on the windward side. That means that the aircraft carrier is blocking the wind. And so they get on this aircraft carrier on the windward side. He says, and we have 4 go fast boats with 12 guys on a boat. And he says, we've got our plan, and we're going to hit this ship that's coming to the United States with weapons of mass destruction from 4 different positions, all in the same second. And we've got it practiced. We've got it down to the second that we're going to do. He says, we get on our boats, and we're just going around the corner. As we go around the corner, we're in 15-foot high seas. Now, I don't know if you have any boaters in here, but a 3-foot high sea is scary. A 10-foot high sea is massive. A 15-foot sea is, I don't know how to navigate that. And I have 3 boats. I don't know how to navigate that. I wouldn't know what to do. And he says, we get on our mics and we hear it's mission go. So we get mission go from the Pentagon, and we're mission go. And as we're nearing, we're just a couple minutes out from intercept. What happens is one of our boats gets sideways and gets capsized with 12 guys in the water. He gets on the mic to the Pentagon, says, we got 12 guys in the water. He hears mission go. He says, failure's not an option. Pentagon's overwatch. We're being looked at. I've got 12 guys in the water. We've got to hit this. My team does not hesitate. He says, everybody, all boats move. They go pick the guys up that are in the water. They have plan B. Everybody gets on the ship. We now have 3 points of ingress. We get in there. We hit the ship. And I says, was a mission a success? And he says, we counted fingers and toes at the way back, and they're all here. And I want you to think about what happens in a second with teamability. Teamability means we don't leave anybody behind. It's when we see one of our brothers or sisters failing or struggling or not showing up with their daily success habits, even though you know who they're playing for. Failure is not an option. We get in and we do the right thing all the time. And the right thing is hard. It's hard. So are we acting like the team we want to be? Great question, isn't it? And you know, it was interesting when I got to E, I looked at Matt. I'm going to stop my share for just a minute because I want you to see my face. When I got to the E, Matt was writing on my whiteboard. He goes, CLIMAT. And he says, what do you think E stands for? I'm like, execution. You got to execute your plan. You got to execute your business plan. And he looked at me without any emotion and he said, execution means something very different to me. And I just sat back in my chair. He said, E stands for empathy. And unless you have empathy, you're just a killer. He says, I want you to think about having somebody in your crosshairs and not having empathy and knowing that they're a mother, a father, somebody's brother, sister, and you're on a kill or capture mission and you have the choice to kill or capture. Without empathy, you're just a trained killer. And I step back and I just think, wow. Wow. Empathy. It's being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and saying, am I doing the right thing for this person? What's the best thing for them? E on this climate worksheet says, does everybody feel heard? And it's everyone. And that's what empathy is feeling heard and being understood. Empathy means feeling heard. I don't know if this is a good thing for today, Leo, with my Navy SEAL buddy, but thinking about communication, leadership, any issues, motivation, accountability is love, teamability. Well, you know, what if we stopped attracting people and we started interviewing them for teamability? Hey, what are you going to bring to the team that's going to make you a team player? What are you going to bring to the team that's going to help you attract other team members? What are you going to bring to the team that's going to help everybody up their game? What are you going to bring to the team instead of, will you please join me? What if we started interviewing and selecting people that brought the right climate to our organization? the bright. It doesn't mean that we don't all have days that are sad or not happy or that aren't sunny. I'm a big Augmandino fan, and he says, you know, if you feel sad, he gives you a whole thing. He says, this too shall pass. We all kind of drop below the line, but it's how fast you get back up above the line that makes you a winner. And having people in your organization that will help you with that is a big deal. All right, I'm gonna go back to my slide deck for a second. I'm gonna show you a couple more slides because I promised I'd give you a couple things today.
We're loving this, brother. We're loving this. Guys, if you guys can drop it in the chat, what are you guys getting out of it? Drop some fire, show Verl some love. I know it's Memorial Day. He's here with us dropping some gems. I have like pages and pages of notes.
Hey, my grandkids are in the pool, man. They are there.
That's awesome.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to give you is, let's see if I can do this differently. I want to share this. Let me get rid of this right here. What happens when I view that? Okay, I'm going to do it different here. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to share my screen on. If I do this, share, and I share my desktop too, and then I go like here, play. All right, you should all see my slide deck. You see my slide deck big now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, so one of the things that we've done is we've created a series of shift modules, and what the shift stands for is using emotional intelligence to move people from being stuck to moving forward. And we use artificial intelligence and special emotional intelligence languaging. This is one of our shift modules. I'm going to give you a couple of them. This one's called the Class Action Advantage, and it's literally a story that and Leo, I'm going to tell you how to use this in a leadership, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to take a shift module on your next call, and I want you to read it out loud as a group. Read the whole story. And then I want you to read what we know about the class action. And then I want you to read the buyer script and then the seller script. And so I've given you a buyer's agent script and a seller's agent script. So when you're sitting with a buyer and seller, you can take them through everything they need to know about the class action and move them forward. And so I'm a big believer in we don't have to discount our price. We have to increase our value. And you can't just say to people, nothing's changing, because that's bullcrap. Everything's changing. Our business is going to look totally different 2 years from now. And if people in your sphere are telling you it's not going to change, they don't know what they're talking about. Everything changes. By the way, who pays the commission in a transaction? The buyer's agent. They've always paid it. They're the only ones that ever show up to the closing with any money. They're the ones that pay for the closing. The seller counts their net, but it's the buyer's agent that's always paid. And if you're waiting for a listing agent to tell you what you're going to get paid as a buyer agent, you don't know how to do your job right. I want you to learn how to know what you're going to get paid as you go into a buyer agent agreement. And whatever the listing agent pays is bonus. It makes it easier for the buyer, but they've always paid it. Oh, it's going to be so fun going forward. Anyway, I just want to give you this. So I want you to read it out loud. And Leo, will you do that? Will you read out loud to your group? I want you to give it to everybody.
100%. Yes.
And then I'm going to give you
share all
another
of
one
these.
called
I'll
the
definitely
interest
do
rate
it.
offset program. I didn't give you a chance to answer, but I got the yes. The interest rate offset program is really cool. How many of you have buyers that were in the market when the rates were under 4%, and now they're sitting on the sidelines because markets are at 6? Okay, that's crazy. There's all kinds of things we can do to offset the difference between 4 and 6%. And so we created a shift module called the interest rate offset program. And when you're role playing, well, I'm going to give you the system, I'm going to give you the story, I'm going to give you the tool of how to figure out how to offset the difference between the two over the next 7 years and teach exactly how to do it. And so you need to use proprietary language. And when somebody says, oh, we're in the market, but the rates are at 4%, I'll say, oh my gosh, have you heard about the interest rate offset? They go, what's that? You say, oh, it's our greatest program. Let me come out and I'm going to show you how it works. And they'll say, awesome. And you sit down with them. Make sure you use proprietary language. We give it a name and a title because it takes a threat and moves it to an opportunity. I love threats in the marketplace because all it means is those of us who know how to message to it dominate. We don't create any new business. Ladies and gentlemen, all we do is take other people's. And you have to decide right now if you're going to be in the business of growing your market share or losing your market share. My life will be the same regardless of what you choose. I choose to grow my market share in a challenging market because weak agents are sitting on the sidelines not knowing what to do, and I'm not weak. Weak agents are sitting on the sidelines waiting for their broker to give them leads, and I'm not waiting for my broker. Weak agents are looking for jobs because they get up every day and they don't know what to do, and I am psychologically unemployable. And success is not an option for me. I cannot fail. If I fail, my whole family suffers. All 3 of my married kids work for me. That represents 11 grandkids and their spouses. We can't fail. We have to get up every day and we have to do what it takes to succeed. You have all of the tools, you have all the trainings, you have the trade secrets, and you have the resources. Now all you have to do is get up and decide and choose to be awesome. Okay, so here's where you're going to get everything. By the way, this is all the tools. These are all the things I'm going to give you. Everybody grab your phones and grab this QR code. I want you to go right in here and just scan it.
Grab this, guys. Grab this, guys. This is powerful stuff.
Ogmandino says that success will not wait. If I delay, she'll become betrothed to another and lost to me forever. This is the time. This is the place. And I am the man, or I am the woman. I will act now. Now's the time, guys. And guys, if you need help and you need some additional coaching, you want some help building your team, many people on Leo's team, Casey's organization, they reach out to us and they ask us for help. If somebody from my company reaches out, do a free business consult and just see where you are. And we'll see if there's an opportunity for us to work together, because we'd love to help you.
Appreciate you, Verl. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate
Leo,
you.
thanks
Brought
for
the
having me, man.
fire
What a
this
fun
morning.
group.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's show Verl some love. Give him a huge shout out. Make sure you scan these downloads, guys. This is going to be powerful stuff. But thank you, man. God bless you, brother, and enjoy your day.
You enjoy your day. Enjoy your families. Happy barbecue, everybody. See you soon.
Let's go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All righty, community. We are at the top of the hour, and we will be sending out the recording here shortly. Make sure you grab the QR code with all the information. We're also going to include it in the email for you guys, just in case you guys missed it. Yeah, this was fire. I took several pages of notes, so would love to hear your feedback. Make sure that you guys, drop it into the WhatsApp chats, just so we can all collaborate and learn from one another. But happy Memorial Day to all of you. Enjoy your day. Let's make it amazing. And God bless all of you. Let's create a great day. Bye.
Thank you. Leo, a question for you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brown.
So on those scripts, I know, so obviously that last link, the barcode has the scripts.
Yep.
Is that something you're going to be covering in here in the future?
Next calls, yeah. I already agreed to it publicly. I said I was going to read them. So
right, yeah.
So I'm coachable. Hey, I'm going to take action on it. So
yeah.
Yes, we will be going through them as a community.
Awesome. Thank you, Leo. Good stuff. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Sounds good, guys.
Thank you.
All righty.
Good day.
Appreciate you guys joining in today. See you guys soon.
See ya.
Peace. Love you, Miss Jill. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.